Today we are talking money. That's £3,600 that you have frittered away on your belly. Hey guys, welcome to my channel. Today we have another Virgin Journals, and I know you guys have been waiting on this one. And today we are talking money and how to get your money in check. So you better get yourself a cup of tea and a notepad for sure, because I have written up a whole stuff here for you guys to see. And I'm not gonna lie, money is actually a topic I really like talking about. And if you don't know, in my previous life I worked in banking, I worked in finance, and I studied accounting and finance. So it's a topic that I really like, and I think it's really important for young people and just people to know. And in schools, for some reason, they don't tell you about money. Why? But they teach you about the Treaty of Versailles, right? You know about the Treaty of Versailles, but yet you don't know how to manage your bank account. Why is that? But today I'm going to talk about lots of different things, specifically about getting your money in check versus how to actually make more money. And I think I'm going to talk about money in segments, potentially more on my blog, because it's such a big subject. And I'm going to just tell you things that can apply to everyone, no matter what stage of life you are currently in. Even if you are young, or if you're like me, you've got a mortgage and multiple mortgages and multiple businesses, there's definitely different things that might apply to you. But these ones here should be easy for everyone. So if you want to know how to get your money in check, I hope this video is useful to you. So when it comes to getting your finance in check, the first thing you want to do is to check your credit. And when I was younger, credit was not something that I thought about, but it's one of those things that impact you in the long run. So even if you are 17, 18 right now, knowing what your credit status, if any, is a really important. I know people who might have taken out like a store card when they were like 18. Yeah, they're like, do you have a store card? Sure, I'll open up a store card. But actually, I know someone who didn't pay their store card, and when they came 2 years later or 3 years later to get a loan to pay for their master's degree, they were not able to because they defaulted on payments, and it had impacted their credit score. And credit score basically impacts your ability to get a mortgage, to get a loan. If you wanted to start a business, it impacts your ability to get a car if you want to get a car on finance, and in some cases credit scores can even impact employment. So it's something to definitely keep on top of. The best way is to basically check what your credit score is. There's an amazing site called Credit Sesame, which you guys in the US and I think in some other countries can use, which basically allows you to check your credit score. You can get credit analysis, and this is obviously free, and you get lots of information on a monthly basis. You can also get free ID protection, which is worth about $50,000. And if you don't know, identity theft is a big thing and really can impact your credit score as well. So number two, what you want to do is build your credit. Now this is if you have no credit at all, which was my case when I was younger, or if you have bad credit. So if you have defaulted on a mobile phone payment, a store card, a loan, a credit card, or anything like that. And there's a few simple ways that you can actually improve your credit. But firstly, check out your credit rating, right? Know what that is, right? But one of the simple things that you can do is get yourself on the electoral roll. So if you're someone who might be a student and you are not registered to vote, register to vote, because that gets you on the system, and that's really important. Number two is if you are kind of registered at multiple different addresses, so your mum's house, your student house, your student halls, someone else's addresses, cut that out. If you can just keep all your mail or your bills going to, say, your parents' house or one address, that's going to look good on your credit score. Number three is if you have lots of different credit cards or credit loans, get one credit card if you can, and pay all of them off, and then manage that one credit card, okay? I don't suggest getting out lots of different credit cards or anything like that, or lots of different loans. Just get one that you can manage quickly and easily. And what I do is I have one credit card, and I have a direct debit from my savings account, which pays off in full every single month my credit balance. And for those of you who don't have credit, you have to build credit. So you need to either get a credit card if you can, or get out something like a mobile phone contract if you have one, and just make sure you pay it regularly and continuously. Do not allow yourself to default on any payment. So don't spend more than you can afford just because it's on credit, and always try and pay the full balance every single month rather than just the minimum, because in the end you're going to be paying interest that you don't need to pay. So tip number 3 is to monitor your accounts. If you are not doing this already, I don't know why you are not. Most banks have a banking app, and it's a great way basically just to look at what you are spending on a daily basis or a weekly basis. I personally use software called QuickBooks, and I use software called Xero. This is great because I run multiple businesses online, so some I invoice, some I receive via PayPal, and multiple different streams of incomes and accounts. But when you use the right software, you're able to manage all your incoming and all your outcoming. And if you don't have apps, and I don't know why you wouldn't have apps, you can simply look at your bank statements on a regular basis. I know lots of people don't look at their statements and they just leave them, but it's worthwhile seeing, number one, what payments you have going out and what your balance is. My sister had been paying £7.50 every single month for the last 4 years for a T-Mobile phone. That there's no T-Mobile anymore, by the way, for a T-Mobile phone that she hadn't been using. So she's literally just got a refund of about £700 to £750 for this thing that she's been paying, and she didn't realize. But you'll never know unless you kind of check your statement, and you might find that there are little bits of money that are coming out that shouldn't be coming out. So keep your eyes peeled and definitely monitor your accounts. So tip number 4 is to maximize your earnings. And I'm not saying start a business, do this. I'm saying maximize your earnings through really little means that everybody has access to. So something like setting up an ISA account, what you have is interest that you can get at the end of the year. Another thing is to switch between accounts. Some accounts give you a balance payoff by moving to them. So they might give you £100 for joining their accounts, and it's a great way to get a competitive price from a bank. I believe that there are some accounts where if you have direct debits with them, even if you pay £2 a month for that account, every direct debit makes you £5. So what you might make is an extra £20 to £25 per month. So moving between accounts and getting any discounts or coupons that are available to you as a young person or even as an adult, you know, even tax refunds are great ways to maximize your earnings. So number 5, you need to assess your spending, and I've said this a lot of times, it's so important. You don't realize that a little spend here and a little chocolate here and a little sandwich here and a little skirt here, all of this might be money that is potentially going down the drain, and there may be ways that you could be making a lot more money at the end of the year, but you frittered it away. And I did a little calculation of, say, when someone spends £10 a day, and when you spend £10 a day 7 days a week, that's £70. At the end of the month, you're spending £300. At the end of the year, that's £3,600 that you have frittered away on your belly. Okay, now I won't lie, food is my vice. You don't know that food is my vice. However, if I thought about food or £3,600, £3,600 sounds amazing, especially if I do it for 4 years. That's £14,400. That's a lot of money that went on a Costa coffee and a sandwich, if we be realistic, let alone with the concept of compound interest, which I'm going to talk about later on in this video. So it's definitely worthwhile having a look at how you're spending your money, especially on those little things that you don't need to fritter away. And rather than frittering them or wasting them, why don't you put them in a little piggy bank or put them in a little account and say, you know what, no, I'm not going to waste my money on these things. Instead, I'm going to wait at the end of the year and I'm going to buy something special. So my next concept when it comes to finances is a divide and conquer. And I feel like budgeting is one of those things that gets far too complicated. You've got to think about it too much. And I'm totally for the concept of automating your finances. And when I say divide and conquer, just think of all the money you get in like a pie. Right? So the concept is basically to calculate all the money that you make for a period of time, and then you take out what do you need to live on and keep that in one account. That is your current account. That's what you need per month, and you can divide that up by the week or however you like to. And then with whatever balance you have, a quarter of that should be spent in savings, a quarter of that should be spent in investments, and then you should leave a little bit of a balance there to basically allow you to have a little bit of fun with as well. And a key thing you can do is literally set up different current accounts. You might keep it with the same bank, but at least you have put some money aside that is going to better your future. So concept number 7, and now we're gonna get a little bit complicated, but I'm keeping it light. Like, this is really light because I know some of my audiences are really young, but if you really want to get into it, then you can do. So the concept is compound interesting. If you don't know about compound interesting, it is a way to make a postman a millionaire if you are really smart. And it's the concept of, if you continue to save or leave a balance for a significant amount of time, because you gain interest on an account, the interest you get on a balance becomes increasingly more. So if you leave an amount for 10 years, it might get 2%, but 2% on 2% on 2% on 2% on 2% on 2% for a 10-year basis can end up doubling, tripling, or even quadrupling your money. And there are people who've been able, basically because they've left money for 10 years and money that they didn't really need, so they lived their life, but they put this balance away that just got a small amount of interest on it, and what it is, it set them up with a trust fund for life. And if you have the opportunity to get an account with a really good interest rate on it, and you're able to leave that balance, leave that balance, because when you look at it in like 5 years or 10 years and it's doubled or tripled, you are going to be like, oh my gosh. And the longer you leave it, the more it increases. So it kind of increases on a multiplier effect, which is excellent. It's what most financial people will tell you to do. And I'm not saying save all your money, but save an amount that is affordable to you and let that interest grow. So my next point is to invest your money. And I'm not talking about stocks, and I'm not talking about shares at this point in time, unless it's something you know about or you want to get into. I might talk about it on another day, but I mean investing in yourself at this point in time. So there might be a way that if you invest in educating yourself or learning a skill that you can then make money off in the future. That might be paying for a course. That might be buying camera and lighting equipment to make a living as a photographer or as a YouTuber. So what you want to do is potentially use your money in a way that's going to make you more money in the future. And I know sometimes some people find it quite hard to spend a little money now because they can't see where it's going to take them. But often I think it's really important to put something down now, take a risk / take a bet on yourself today for a brighter future tomorrow. And also, if you have spent you know everything you need to spend on, you spend it on. Everything you need to save, you saved. That little bit of money there, even if it's £50 a month that you invest in yourself, that's enough, because you never know, if you spent that £50 or that £100 on yourself today, that might make you a millionaire tomorrow. So my next one is more of a practical one, and it's to spend below your means. Do not be someone who has to keep up with the Joneses, or just because you've got some money, spend it all. Don't be ridiculous. And I've had some people who they come into money very quickly and they spend it real quickly. And I think it's a great way to get broke really quick. Just because you're making a little bit now and then you spend it all every single month, you've got nothing to show. You make £4,000 a month, right? And you've got nothing to show for it. No assets, nothing. No. If I'm making £4,000 a month, if I'm making £10,000 a month, if I'm making £1,000 a month, I'm spending £300, yeah? And leaving £700 to build into my future. If I'm making £4,000 a month, I'm spending £500 a month and spending £3,500 for my future. So spend a ratio of your money, but don't spend everything. It's not about keeping up with the Joneses. The more you spend below your means, the more you're able to save, invest, and improve your future in the long run. And it might be hard today when you have to kind of sacrifice or get a flat that's not as fancy, or you might not be able to buy that designer bag, but instead you get the cheaper version, or you buy the Zara shoes instead of the Louboutins or something. You might do that today, but it means that tomorrow you'll be in a better position. However, it's still important to treat yourself, but set yourself aside a treating budget that maybe you spend every 3 months versus every month you're hand to mouth because you spend everything on a pair of shoes. Don't be that person, truly don't be that person, but there's nothing wrong with treating yourself here and there. So my final point is a little bit of a boring point, but it's basically to be tax efficient. And this is more, applies more to people who run their own businesses or are freelancers and potentially you know nothing about paying taxes and can end up, 1, paying lots of fines, or 2, spending lots on accounting when you don't necessarily need to, or not being able to take advantage of some of the opportunities that are out there, all legal, all right, all for people who are growing their businesses. The key thing I would do is check the HMRC website, really do your research. I would also say get in contact with a set of really good accountants who know your business and your area and who are able to give you a plan on how they could improve your finances and ensure that you're not paying so much in taxes because you were managing your finances poorly. Where you can be tax efficient, do, but I would always say seek actual advice. So guys, that video was a little bit serious, but I feel like it's really important to really talk about how to get your money in check. It's so important, and as I mentioned, definitely check out creditsesame.com. No matter where you are from in the world, I'm sure it applies all over. These are the first steps to really getting yourself into like financial security, and if in the long run you want to be like, financially stable, then these are the steps you can take today to ensure that you have a good future. So guys, I hope you enjoyed that Virgin Journals, and I feel like that's a topic that I really wanted to talk about, and there's so much more, but I don't want to bombard you with like really detailed stuff right about now. But on my blog I might get into it and show you my complete and utter nerdy side because I'm a top nerd, if I be honest with you. But yeah, so guys, thank you so much for watching, and if you found this useful, please let me know in the comments, and if you have any other questions, let me know and I'll catch you later. Thanks for watching guys, bye. Hey, I've got an Instagram hacks video for you. How does your photo look like that? Instagram and real life are 2 different